Hey everyone, it's DeAnna from DeAnna Scraps. I am here with a process video for the Crafty Maven Getaway channel. I am doing a layout based on a sketch for Sketch It Out Thursday, and the inspiration piece and the sketch were both in the beginning of the video. So for me, the inspiration piece, the very first thing that I notice when I'm looking at anything like a mood board or items like that is the color. So the first thing I grabbed from the colors of that inspiration piece were the blue and the greens. And, you know, those are good colors for me. I especially like the anything like blue, green, and pink together. So that was perfect. And then the other part that stuck out to me was the bird that had a sort of like a mosaic type design, and it had the different colors of blue and green. And so that's was my starting off point. So I was able to find a sketch that used triangles, and so that's what I decided I wanted to do here. A lot of what I'm using is going to be from the Amy Tangerine Finders Keepers papers, or that line, partially because the colors work out perfect, but also because I'm in the middle of a scrapbook room, let's see, redo. I don't really know what to call it, but I'm basically going through and I have a lot of my stuff is not in the scrap room, so I don't have a lot at my a lot of my supplies readily available. So this was one of the kits that I had created. And I was showing you there, I had tried to cut the triangles with the trimmer, and it was taking longer to do that than to just cut it by hand. So I went ahead and did that. Then I took some time to kind of lay out those triangles. I wanted it to look like it was coming from the top left and just kind of making its way down to the right bottom corner. And then where I'm at now, I'm struggling a little bit with which layer is the best layer to put under the pictures. And I do decide in a minute here that I'm going to cut down those photos, which really helps with the design, because one of the things that I don't like to do is if I spend time, you know, building up like a design on the background, whether it be stamping or even, you know, misting, paper piecing, whatever it may be, I don't like to just then cover the whole thing up, which, you know it's really nice to have little bits of things showing from the background. But this time I wanted some of those triangles to show, so I figured I needed to cut those photos down, which worked fine. And then from here, I'm deciding which one to do, and I did decide to go with the striped paper there as the one directly behind the photo. And the reason why is because I thought it would be too busy on the background with all those triangles. I don't know if that was the best option or not, but it's what worked at the time. So to me, that's just too busy. But when I put the green paper behind that, I think it helps with the contrast. All right. So then I just need to work on where I'm going to place that, and that takes a little bit before I get there. I wanted to add another paper layer and just a little bit more color along that photo. So I'm taking some of this paper that has the colorful cameras on it, and I just cut that down so that it just looks like a little layer back there. Just builds on the photo mat. Now I'm using this Dylusions ink spray, and it is called White Linen. It is gorgeous. It took forever. Well, I made sure to wait a really long time for it to dry, because if you know me, I usually have no patience and I smear my ink splatters. So I went off camera for quite a bit and waited for this to dry. And the white Dylusions is gorgeous on paper. It's the best I've ever seen as far as white ink splatters. I've even tried it with like paint and water before, and I can't seem to get the right consistency. So, I just think this works perfect. I'm going to do some stamping on this layout, and I'm just basically grabbing some word phrases that I think works for these pictures. And I'm just going to use some black Lawn Fawn ink. And what I'm going to do is just kind of layer up the stamping along the triangles. Not all over them, but just here and there. And sorry, this is a little off camera. I was realizing that the stamps were brand new, so I needed to do the little eraser trick on there to make sure it would stamp clear. So that one says Ah Family, and I just stamped that twice. And then I'm going to pick a couple other phrases and just kind of stamp them amongst the triangles. It's another one I'm having to do the eraser trick on. So I was saying I was in the middle of doing a scrap room redo. Really what I did was I took all my stuff out of my scrap room. I have a small scrap room. It's just a small, it's maybe, I use about 2/3 of the room for my scrapping stuff. And I took it all out of the room and had big plans for it and realized what I wanted to do wasn't going to work. So I'm slowly just kind of reorganizing things and bringing it back in here. But what I did was I created a kit that I'm going to try to use, and I'm actually going to do some of that over on my DeAnna Scraps channel, but this was part of that kit, and I just decided the colors worked perfect, so I was able to use it for this video. So I'm just continuing to add some more of the stamping with the triangles, and I like the way that looks. So here I am trying to get the placement down, and I'm just going to end up going for it with that camera paper and just, you know, adding it down, because I go back and forth with where that yellow piece of that 3x4 should go, and I don't end up using that piece. I liked it for the color, and I thought the saying was really funny, but because that is one thing this girl is. This is my niece, Allie, and man, she is not lazy. She, especially when we go to the cabin, she is all about like, let's go fishing, let's do this, let's do that. She always wants to be busy, which is good. So then I'm just trying to figure out if there's some more layers I can put on here, and I don't end up using that green piece of paper. And like I said, I don't use that 3x4 yellow sheet either. So this is where I'm like, okay, I just need to stick it down. Just need to put it down and then decide from there instead of, you know, fiddling with too much. So then I have all these pieces that were like cut aparts from the paper pad. And I'm going to use that one that says Hooray just to add a little bit more behind those paper layers. And the title I'm putting down is going to be Big Catch. And I knew where I wanted the title to end, so I just had to make sure that it fit in there. And I'm using those Cal Barteschi foam thickers, which I love that font. I have some in black and some in pink. I think those are the only colors they come in. I'm not 100% sure on that though. So I'm just adding that in there. I'm still trying to play with some other cut aparts, trying to see if I should add more to the corner, but I decided that I was going to do my journaling around the edge of the layout. So I did some hearts there to kind of corner, to kind of start the corner off, and then I'm doing the journaling. And then, yeah, I went off camera and did the rest. So you can see I did the journaling all the way around the layout, and I added some more hearts there. Now I'm going to use these Amy Tan Gold Mylar Flare. I'm going to use the one that has the heart and one that says Good Times, just to add a little bit more dimension. They're on pop dots, so it kind of does that for you. And then I'm going to also use some black and white enamel dots, which I was really sad because once I used those black enamel dots, I didn't use the whole thing, I don't think, in this layout, but I'm basically done with the black enamel dots. I ended up having to place an order for some more because I use them so much. I always say enamel dots makes everything better. And that's basically the end of the layout. I don't think I add anything more. I really had a lot of fun with this layout. It was definitely different for me, doing the paper piecing. So that was a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed doing the stamping on it too. So I haven't done that for a while. But here's some close-ups, and there's even some still images at the end. So thanks everybody for watching, and I will catch you next time.